everyone, we are back. I'm kidding. We're here to tell you guys our positive at-home birth story.
I'm gonna start off with why we even chose to go down this at-home birth route.
Yeah.
Why did we, babe?
Our personal experience wasn't great with our OB, and then my husband, he was like, hey, let's look into having an at-home birth. He was like, this just sounds so much better.
I don't trust hospitals and the statistics for us and minorities. It doesn't look that great. So I definitely was looking into the at-home birth route.
Yeah. Lolly, shout out to you, girl.
Yeah. Thank you.
I told her about it, and she was like, she got straight on it and started looking up midwives around my area, and she sent me the site, and I was going through the site basically, and the site just made me want to know more. I started reading it, I started reading the stories, I seen the pictures, and it just made me want to have that experience. So I ended up emailing her, the midwife on there, and scheduling like a consultation with her, and me and Austin decided to go. She basically like made our decision very clear.
She solidified it.
Yeah, she solidified it.
She sold us. It wasn't much. Like, she was just being herself and being genuine. She was just a wonderful energy, wonderful soul, and just made us feel so safe and trusted around like her presence. Yeah.
Because it was two of them, Megan and Luli. Shout out to them.
They are
love them to death.
Awesome people. Like,
they make you feel like family. They make you feel like,
I wish the world was filled with them.
Yeah, literally.
Because they are needed everywhere. Because they were just perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to add some clips throughout this video, like while we're talking. We didn't get a whole bunch of stuff because it was very intimate. So we didn't get like a bunch of footage or anything like that. To be honest, my whole like labor was pretty easy. Let me just start off by saying she came a week before her due date.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting her at all. I had like no signs. Well, I'm not gonna say no signs, because I did. I guess the only like sign that I had was that my down there was really swollen, and I was just like, okay, like yeah, like that's new. But I didn't like lose my mucus plug or anything like that. I didn't like, my water didn't break or anything like that either. That's the only thing I seen. And I was 39 weeks. She decided to come.
Yeah.
It was the day before Thanksgiving. It was,
I had work.
November 23rd. Yeah, it was.
I had
a Wednesday.
Work.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday because it was the day before Thanksgiving. So yes, it was a Wednesday. Literally, I was just asleep, and at 1 in the morning, it was like 1:50 in the morning, I started getting like period cramping. It like woke me up, and I was just kind of like, okay, like this is weird, but you know, didn't think anything of it. And they were really far apart. I guess those were contractions, but they were really far apart, so I was able to, you know, go back to sleep. But then they kept waking me up, so I was just like, okay, like it's new, you know. I haven't felt period cramping throughout my pregnancy, so I'm like, this is just, you know, different. So I decided to start timing them just in case. They were really far apart. Like I said, it was like happening within like 15 minutes, 17 minutes, 20 minutes even. So I was getting like sleep between the contractions. So like around like 4 or 5 range, and I was kind of just walking around in the room. He woke up because he was gonna start getting ready for work and stuff. And I was telling him about it, and he was just like, okay, so like, you know, like what do we do? Like, should I go into work? Like, what do you think? Like, do you think that this is, you know, this is it? And I was like, I don't know, because I mean, it's my first time, so I don't know. But she
called the midwife.
They were getting kind of close, but still far apart. So I was like, you know what? Like, let me just call the midwife and see. Oh no, at 5 they did start getting closer together, where they were 5 minutes apart. They were 1 minute long, and I just started timing them for a whole, you know, hour. They were consistent, so I was just like, okay. But they were still not so painful where like I couldn't do it, you know. It was still, I was able to talk through them, and I was still able to like walk and do everything. So I called her, and I was just like, hey, you know, this is happening, and they are 5 minutes apart for an hour long, for a minute long, or whatever. She said, okay. you sound good. So she was like, let's just give it another hour, keep timing them, and let's see, you know, if they keep getting closer together or if they just, you know, leave, because it was still dark at the time. And she was like, usually, you know, for some women, the daylight comes and then it goes away, and then, you know, they don't give birth within, like, it's either like a couple days or even a week, like, you don't know. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And like I said, at the time too, I wasn't like in so much pain. So I was just like, okay, like, cool. Like, I can just keep going through the motions. So yeah, I hung up with her. And again, I kept timing them. They were going to go on for a whole nother hour. But then literally within like 20 minutes from that phone call, my other midwife called me. And at that point, I was already kind of like, oh my God, like, these are more painful. Like, they were kind of getting harder to like talk through them. So I was just like, okay, like, I kind of had to pause for a second, and not even walk too. Like, I couldn't even walk. I had to like stop for a second, breathe through them, and then like I could keep going. I look crazy, but it's 6, about to be 7 in the morning right now. It is November 23rd, and I think I'm in early labor. So yeah, I've been getting contractions since 1 a.m. this morning. At first they were really far apart, so I was able to sleep, but now, ever since 5 a.m., they've become very consistent, back to back. I'm having one right now. So the other midwife had called me, and she was just like, hey, how's it going? You know, I heard what was happening. Like, you know, catch me up. So I told her the same thing that I was telling the other midwife. And she was like, okay, well, yeah, like, you do sound good. But like I said, at that time, they were kind of coming in a little bit more strong. So I had to kind of pause, and I was like, okay, hold on, like, give me a second. I have another contraction. And she's like, okay, yeah, like, take your time.
She really wanted to listen to it.
And yeah, and she was just kind of like, okay, like, let me hear it. And I was just kind of like breathing through it. And she was like, okay, like, they do sound a little, you know, like, strong, but you still sound good. So she was like, you know what, let me start heading over there and just come and check to see, you know, and that's like, you know, we'll see from there, basically. And I was like, okay. She hangs up with me, and literally within, again, I think it was like 5 minutes, then she calls me again, and now they're even stronger. And I'm like, now I really can't even talk through them at all. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, no, I couldn't even really hold the phone. I had to give it to Austin, and I was just like, hey, like, you talk to her. So she started talking to him, and I had asked her too. I was like, should I send Austin to work? And she was like, no, like, he needs to stay there and, you know, kind of prep for it and see, because, you know, I feel like this is kind of, because she was hearing me and how I was like struggling, kind of. And she was like, no, I think this is like the real deal. So she didn't say that, but she was like kind of thinking it. So she's like, yeah, no, like, he can't go to work. So I'm like, okay, babe, you can't go to work. Like, here, she wants to talk to you. So she starts talking to him, and I'm still like going through my contractions. And she told me this afterwards, and she's like, literally every time I called you, like, it was like more intense and more intense and more intense, like, each time. So because she called me 3 times. And the 3rd time she called, he just picked up, and I was in the back, and I was just like, now I was kind of making like that little like moaning noise, kind of, because I was just like, oh, like, like, these are these are kind of bad. They weren't super bad though. Like, I still could. I didn't need like medicine, you know what I'm saying? It was just they were painful.
Built for it.
I had to
built different.
Sit back and breathe. And basically, she was like, I heard her. She was on the phone with him, and then I was kind of going through it in the back, and she was like, oh, hold on, like, bring the phone closer to her, like, I want to hear her. And I had another one, and I was just kind of like going through it, and she was like, okay, yeah, no, like this is definitely like active labor. So she comes, she ends up getting here within an hour.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just setting up the whole room and everything.
Setting up, Austin's filling up the pool, getting everything ready.
I'm lighting candles. I'm turning on meditation music.
He's making me breakfast.
I'm making food. I'm just trying to set the whole environment.
And I'm just downstairs, like on the yoga ball, like kind of just trying to go through it. I had my combs. Yeah. It was. Yeah, I was just going through it at the time, drinking my water, and he was just literally running up and down, trying to get everything ready and making food for me because I needed to eat something. Right. She finally gets here, and did she check me as soon as she got here? I think so. Huh?
Yeah, she went straight to you as soon as she got here.
Yeah, she got here, and she was like, okay, like, can I check you? Do you want to get checked? And I was like, yeah. I was at a pretty good headspace. I felt like even if I was at a low number, I felt like I can still deal with it because I was like, yeah, these are painful, but I'm still good. Like, I don't need medicine right now. I don't need anything. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm fine. Even if I'm at 3, I'll be fine. Like, I'll be good. Even if I'm at 4 or 5. No. I was hoping at least I was at 5. Not the case. But no, like, as soon as she came and she checked me, I was already at 8 centimeters, huh? Like 8 centimeters, basically. So I only had a little bit more to go. And I was like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy.
Baby girl's en route.
So yeah, she was coming and like, she was going to be here soon. So yeah, so basically we definitely hurried up. The pool was getting freaking full. She started getting everything ready. Like, she started getting her stuff out. I was just still going through it. They let me do my thing. They were doing their thing.
Yeah, just prepping the room.
Prepping everything,
getting all the blankets, all the pads, and everything like all set up. Because you have everything at the house. You're basically turning your room into like your own little hospital room.
They give you a paper where you go and you get everything that you're going to need, all the supplies, yes. Once the pool got filled up, they asked me if I wanted to go in it, and I was like, yes, of course. So it was nice and warm, and as soon as I got in there, it felt so much better. Like, it was like relief of pain, to be honest. Like, as soon as I got in, I was just like, oh yeah, like I can definitely do this. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah, because you were struggling before
you got in the pool. Yeah, I started struggling a little bit.
The pool, she was struggling.
But as soon as I got into the little pool, I was chilling. I was good. I was just like, I'll add some clips here too.
She wasn't like as good. She was still going through it. Yeah. But it was a lot better.
Yes.
It's tough out, huh? I'm sorry you're going through this. But it's beautiful. You look great.
I don't feel great. Oh. Yeah, that feels good. So yeah, basically that was that. The other midwife came shortly after, and we just were going through it. Yeah. We were literally waiting, playing the waiting game.
Yeah, the rest of the time when everybody showed up is just allowing wifey to go through it, you know, like fully just being present.
I was just in the pool having my contractions,
trying to assist and like remind her that she can do it, and that she's built for it, and that her body is ready for this, and that she's wonderful. Pain is temporary, you know. Just kept trying to bring her into her mental ability to go and have a baby, you know. So that's and the midwives were really great in that, because I mean, I'm doing what I can, you know, stepping in, grabbing, like holding her hands, and
it was really good though. They all were like,
everyone was just like, it was like a whole family.
Yeah.
Everybody was just helping, you know.
We had our Zen moment, literally. We had the music, like he had the whole like yoga music, I think it was. Meditation music. So it was really like super Zen, super just like, I don't know. It felt good. Because
she got in the pool, then made some pushes in the pool.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of change was happening in the pool. Then she got out, went to the bathroom, and then mucus plug stuff.
That's when stuff started happening for sure. My mucus plug was, you know, came out. It fully came out in the pool, but it was, you know, a little bit, because you start losing a little bit, little by little. So yeah, once I was going to the bathroom, it was coming out a little bit, and then in the pool, it definitely came out fully. Yeah. My water wasn't breaking. It didn't break until literally like almost until towards she was
here. Toward the water didn't break until towards the ending, and this is and like there was a period in time in the pool towards the middle ending of the pregnancy where Maria was just like, she was going, it was a lot. She was not making a lot of, she was pushing and didn't feel like she was pushing enough or doing enough.
But that was because the water wasn't right, like it wasn't really doing anything.
She just felt like she wasn't doing anything. And then I got in a pool with her. And then Luli basically told her where to push, and that changed everything.
So she was like, okay, are you okay if I, you know, help you out? And I was like, yeah. And she stuck her fingers in, and basically she felt like it was like a pocket, and she was like, you feel here? And I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, I need you to basically push and fill this area up. So I was like, okay, like I know now. So when she said that, and I did it, and then him getting in the pool was helping me because he was like behind me, and I was like wrapped around his like leg, so it was helping me make more. Because also in the pool, like I was kind of floating, so it was kind of hard, especially by myself. And they does have little handles and stuff, so like I was holding on to them, but it was still like hard because my legs kept kind of like floating up. Yeah. But with him in there, it was a lot better because he was, you know, kind of like on the floor. He was good, strong, and he was like a rock basically. And then I was just holding on to him, and it was making me like make more or push more basically and harder.
Yeah, I was just trying to breathe with you, man.
Yeah,
I was just trying to breathe with you.
We basically at that point, that's when, once I knew what to do and I had like assistance, that's when I basically my water broke, and I felt, it literally felt like a pop, like it just. And after that, it was like game on.
Kind of. You got a little too relaxed in the pool. She got too relaxed in the pool because her contractions like started.
But it was definitely like game on. Like now it's like baby's coming. Now making progress. Now we see the progress. Yeah. So it was like, okay, my contractions were a little further apart than what we wanted them to be.
To have a birth inside of the pool.
Yeah.
Because if the baby comes out,
if like the head
and the contractions are far apart, baby head comes out, now you're underwater, you can't break water, and you gotta wait for the next.
To stay there, but if she ends up like breathing, it was just.
So it's all timing then. Yeah. So you gotta be careful about that. So
which also, like I said, midwives are great
on
because
point.
we didn't know that. So she was like, as soon as she kind of figured out and seen like, okay, like we're doing good, but contractions are a little further apart.
We're comfortable in the pool.
Yeah. She was like, hey, like let's switch, let's change positions, let's try the bed now. And I was just like, okay. At that point, to be honest, I was just with whatever, because that was the point where I was just like, oh my gosh, like I cannot do this. And they kept telling me like, no, like you're good, like you're meant to do this, your body knows what it's doing, like you're fine. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
That's crazy. Yeah.
We finally got on the bed. Luli was at, my feet. I was laying down sideways, and then Luli was down towards my feet. She had one leg up over like her shoulder, and then the other one was on the bed. And then Austin was right next to her, also, helping out. And that's when it started happening.
Yeah, you could see babies. You could see baby's hand coming.
I just kind of did a few pushes, to be honest. It didn't take long once we got on the bed, huh?
No, it didn't take super long, but there was just like it was just an intense moment. It was like you saw the baby's head, and she like contraction, but then like halfway through the contraction with wifey pushing, the head would like go back in. and then the next contraction, head would come out, and it's just like, yo, like,
yeah,
like this is a lot, because it's all pain and stretching the whole time. It's just like
because I was only pushing when the contractions were coming. Because yes, I know that some of my friends were like, oh no, like, you know, I pushed whenever I was just pushing, and that usually causes you to tear even more. So like I was only doing it when the contractions were happening. That's what they were telling, my midwives were suggesting, you know, like only when you feel it. When you don't feel it, then catch a breath and, you know, rest for a second and then keep going. And also it was to help keep my energy up and not freaking be so exhausted and then can't do it anymore, you know. So it really was helping that I was doing it only on my contractions. So yeah, basically, finally, head came out.
Yeah, head popped out.
As soon as she came out, her head, I felt the ring of fire. I feel like that's what gave me more motivation. For a little bit too, I wasn't getting motivated because I also felt like, yeah, I was making progress, but I also didn't see anything happening and feel anything happening. So, and like I said, I would always hear like the ring of fire, the ring of fire. As soon as you feel the ring of fire, like, you know that for sure, you know, she's coming out. And I didn't feel that, so I was just in pain, but didn't feel anything. So I was just like, ugh, like I was kind of getting back to like that mental, like, damn, like I'm not making progress. But as soon as, well, once her little head was coming out, but not all the way, Luli was like, hey, like, touch, you know, like, you want to feel it's her little head. And once I felt that, I was like, okay, like, she's for sure right here. So I just have to like actually just give it a good push. And once I did that, that's when her full head was coming out and I felt the ring of fire. And I was just like, oh my, most painful experience I've ever gone through, of course.
Yeah, that was so crazy. Head popped out.
Yeah, as soon as her little head popped out,
and
I didn't get another contraction. Like, the contraction stopped, so I had to stop. And her so little head was just out.
It was just out.
She was even moving it too, and she started like, crying.
Just head, just It was hilarious, but scary at the same time. Because, like, you're like, baby's not fully out. Her shoulder is just her head.
Literally just her
out.
head.
Yeah, so you're like, oh. And we're in between a contraction.
Yeah.
So, like,
I kind of seen it when I looked down, but I didn't fully see it. But they did have a video of me, like, actually, you know, the whole thing. And it was crazy. I was like, oh, God. Yeah. But, yeah. Oh, hold on. Pause. Sorry, quick commercial break.
Yeah.
She woke up. Mm-hmm. She's hungry, so we're just going to try to finish this video out because
it's getting
literally
dark.
Tried, like, 5 times and it's getting dark. So we're losing daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like,
Daylight.
Yeah. I swear.
And then like two contractions after?
Yeah, no, it was just 2 pushes after.
Yeah.
It was 1 contraction.
Yeah.
And then I did 1 push and her little like shoulders came out. And then the next push, her full.
Yeah.
Austin was there. He caught her. He basically like pulled her out.
Yeah, like halfway through, she came out, like shoulders, arms came out, and then that was me. I'm like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Baby here.
It was beautiful. I feel like it was
so
great.
I'm happy we did it.
Intimate, very special experience. I'm happy we did it too.
I'm happy we made a baby.
It was literally a 12-hour labor. Like, technically, because I did start contracting at 1:50 something. And then she was born at 1:43 p.m. And I started at a.m. So, yeah. So it was a full 12-hour labor, but it was very easy for the beginning, to be honest. Until the end, that's when it really just started getting really, really hard. I mean, obviously. But yeah, she was here. She was born on the 23rd of November, the day before Thanksgiving. She decided to make her appearance.
Little Sagittarius out here.
Little Sag. That's pretty much it. That's our birth story. I feel like it's pretty positive. We had, like I said, we had no complications. Everything was so smooth, so great. We'll see you again. I don't know when. I'm literally using this YouTube as like a diary, I guess, in my memory book, just to have like the special moments there, or like the memories, and I really wanted to have this story in here because I mean, like, it was great and I didn't want to ever forget about this. So yeah, I recommend it, and I will do it again. I feel like, I don't know if I'll ever have a hospital birth. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in next time. Bye.
Peace.